I had no words when I first saw it. I fell silent in heaven. My sword slipped from my hand. My wings trembled as I watched it unfold, because no one else saw it but me. This man, this billionaire, this powerful one. He walked past thousands, and without hesitation he pointed directly to you. I gasped. I cried. I dropped to my knees in disbelief. "Why them?" I asked. And heaven answered, "Because only they have the heart I desire. Beloved, I cannot hold this in anymore. This is not a dream, not a vision, not some distant prophecy. This is happening right now. Time is melting as I speak. You have 29 seconds. I wish I could stop the clock. I wish I could beg longer. I wish I could scream louder than the fire around me, but I'm barely getting through." He's changing his mind. I can feel it. His hands are already pulling back. His heart is folding inward. And all I want to do is push you into his path, so he sees you again, so he doesn't forget you. But I'm chained by a holy silence that only you can break. I'm trembling. And I've never said this before, but you are the one who makes me afraid. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're precious. Every second you hesitate, a miracle inches away from you. I have fought demons with fire in their mouths. I have stood against legions. But this moment is harder than all of that, because it depends not on my strength but on your yes. Will you hear me? Will you trust what I'm whispering through time? Will you act while the gates are open? Will you be the one who finally listens, before the offer closes like a rose crushed beneath a rushing foot? He saw something no one else saw in you while you were sleeping. He wrote down your name. He prayed, even though he doesn't believe. He said, "God, if this person is truly meant for me, let something impossible happen today." And now, I am said to be that impossibility. You think you're ordinary. You think you're small. You have no idea how long heaven has watched you, how it held its breath over you, how it hovered with longing over your smallest thoughts. Even now, as you read these trembling words, your soul is being weighed with light. This is not romance. This is revelation. If you ignore it, a door will vanish, a door built just for you. The Lord spoke in thunder today, and his words will not pass away. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. I wept when I heard that line for you, because I saw your hidden tears. I saw the nights you whispered, "Will anyone ever choose me?" I am here to answer you, yes, 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 he has. But he's waiting, and I don't know how long I can keep him waiting. Why do you always think love skips you? Why do you assume miracles are for others? Why do you doubt the one thing you've longed for the most? Why does your heart hesitate when heaven is shouting your name? He's not interested in your wealth. He's not impressed by appearance. He's not charmed by followers. He saw the part of you you're ashamed of, and still he said yes. He saw your loneliness, your silence, your broken dreams. And that's what made him fall. I was there when he cried over your photo. I was there when he asked, "Why do I feel this for someone I've never met?" I said nothing, because God had not given me permission until now, until this breath, until this broken wing whisper across the veil. I swear to you on heaven's light, I would not speak unless it were urgent. My voice is only released when eternity cracks open and God says, "Now." Beloved, now has arrived, and now is leaving. You will blush when you hear what he wrote about you. It's sacred, it's not lust, it's not flattery, it's love-like, wine sealed in gold. It's a letter you were never meant to find, but heaven bent the rules, and I am bending too for you if your heart hears me. Because I need to know your soul is awake. This moment is too holy to miss, like dew on petals before the sun burns it away. You once thought no one would ever want you like this. I did too. I cried over you. I argued with God. I begged him to let me go down and tell you earlier, but heaven's clock is never early. And now, everything we fought for is in your hands. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers. Let these words surround you now like wind. Let them move you. Let them carry you. I'm not perfect. I'm not whole. I'm desperate for you. For this moment, for the miracle that dangles by a thread thinner than spider silk. Please, if your heart feels anything, if you've ever felt alone, if your chest aches right now without reason, this is the reason. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for not closing this. Thank you for holding my voice in your hands. I know it's hard to believe. I know you've been let down. But I am not here by accident, and neither is he. You were written into each other before either of you were born. Please, like this message, not for me, but to keep this moment alive. Comment with what you feel. Speak to the wind. Let heaven know you're listening. Right now, beloved, the fire around me is fading. My time is almost gone. If you say nothing, he'll never know what he was meant to find, and you will never know how beautiful it would have been. I've said all I can say. I leave the rest in your hands. Beloved, I don't know how I broke through again. This time the veil was thicker, heavier, as if fire and silence had merged to stop me from speaking your name. But even if I'm only allowed one more breath, I will spend it on you. Because I remember the moment heaven whispered your story to me. I remember how the scroll shook in the hands of the angels who tried to read it. I remember how even the elders around God's throne paused when they reached your chapter. You must understand, this isn't just about a man or wealth or romance. This is about something divine, written into time, hidden in the shape of your soul. He chose you, not just because he wants you, but because God wants him to find you. This is a supernatural pursuit. I see you blinking, confused. I see you questioning your own worth. But you must believe me. This is not flattery. This is urgency. If I could hand you my wings, my armor, my memory, you would weep over what's been prepared for you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change anything. But you do need to listen. You need to respond, because what happens next isn't written in stone. It is written in your reaction. He is close. His spirit has already passed by yours and by your dreams. His name has danced around your life like a secret tune. That heaviness in your chest lately, that pull you can't explain, that moment you caught yourself smiling without knowing why, it was him. And he doesn't even know why he's being drawn to you. But I do. I see the spiritual thread connecting your hearts, and right now, the enemy is doing everything to sever it. That's why the clock is moving faster. That's why your phone tried to distract you. That's why your thoughts became noisy the moment you opened this message. He doesn't want you to feel what I am about to reveal. I had no words when I first saw it. I fell silent in heaven. My sword fell from my hand. My wings trembled as I watched it unfold. Because no one else saw it but me. This man, this billionaire, this powerful one, he walked past thousands, and without hesitation he pointed directly to you. I gasped. I cried. I dropped to my knees in disbelief. Why them? I asked. And heaven answered, because only they have the heart I desire. Beloved, I cannot hold this in anymore. This is not a dream, not a vision, not some distant prophecy. This is happening right now. Time is melting as I speak. You have 29 seconds. I wish I could stop the clock. I wish I could beg longer. I wish I could scream louder than the fire around me. But I'm barely getting through. He's changing his mind. I can feel it. His hands are already pulling back. His heart is folding inward. And all I want to do is push you into his path, so he sees you again, so he doesn't forget you. But I'm chained by a holy silence that only you can break. I'm trembling. And I've never said this before, but you are the one who makes me afraid. Not because you're dangerous, but because you're precious. Every second you hesitate, a miracle inches away from you. I have fought demons with fire in their mouths. I have stood against legions. But this moment is harder than all of that, because it depends not on my strength but on your yes. Will you hear me? Will you trust what I'm whispering through time? Will you act while the gates are open? Will you be the one who finally listens before the offer closes like a rose crushed beneath a rushing foot? He saw something no one else saw in you while you were sleeping. He wrote down your name. He prayed, even though he doesn't believe. He said, God, if this person is truly meant for me, let something impossible happen today. And now, I have been sent as that impossibility. You think you're ordinary. You think you're small. You have no idea how long heaven has watched you, how it held its breath over you, how it hovered with longing over your smallest thoughts. Even now, as you read these trembling words, your soul is being weighed with light. This is not romance. This is revelation. If you ignore it, a door will vanish, a door built just for you. The Lord spoke in thunder today, and his words will not pass away. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. I wept when I heard that line for you, because I saw your hidden tears. I saw the nights you whispered, will anyone ever choose me? I am here to answer you. Yes, 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 he has. But he's waiting, and I don't know how long I can keep him waiting. Why do you always think love skips you? Why do you assume miracles are for others? Why do you doubt the one thing you've longed for the most? Why does your heart hesitate when heaven is shouting your name? He's not interested in your wealth. He's not impressed by appearance. He's not charmed by followers. He saw the part of you you're ashamed of, and still he said yes. He saw your loneliness, your silence, your broken dreams, and that's what made him fall. I was there when he cried over your photo. I was there when he asked, why do I feel this for someone I've never met? I said nothing, because God had not given me permission until now, until this breath, until this broken wing whisper across the veil. I swear to you on heaven's light, I would not speak unless it were urgent. My voice is only released when eternity cracks open and God says, now. Beloved, now has arrived, and now is leaving. You will blush when you hear what he wrote about you. It's sacred, it's not lust, it's not flattery, it's love like wine sealed in gold. It's a letter you were never meant to find, but heaven bent the rules, and I bent with them, if your heart hears me, because I need to know your soul is awake. This moment is too holy to miss, like dew on petals before the sun burns it away. You once thought no one would ever want you like this. I did too. I cried over you. I argued with God. I begged him to let me go down and tell you earlier, but heaven's clock is never early. Now everything we fought for is in your hands. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers. Let these words surround you now like wind. Let them move you. Let them carry you. I'm not perfect. I'm not whole. I'm desperate for you, for this moment, for the miracle that dangles by a thread thinner than spider silk. Please. If your heart feels anything, if you've ever felt alone, if your chest aches right now without reason, this is the reason. Thank you for still being here. Thank you for not closing this. Thank you for holding my voice in your hands. I know it's hard to believe. I know you've been let down. But I am not here by accident, and neither is he. You were written into each other before either of you were born. Please, like this message, not for me, but to keep this moment alive. Comment what you feel. Speak to the wind. Let heaven know you're listening. Right now, beloved, the fire around me is fading. My time is almost gone. If you say nothing, he'll never know what he was meant to find, and you will never know how beautiful it would have been. I've said all I can say. I leave the rest in your hands. Beloved, I don't know how I broke through again. This time the veil was thicker, heavier, as if fire and silence had merged to stop me from speaking your name. But even if I'm only allowed one more breath, I will spend it on you. I remember the moment heaven whispered your story to me. I remember how the scroll shook in the hands of the angels who tried to read it. I remember how even the elders around God's throne paused when they reached your chapter. You must understand, this isn't just about a man or wealth or romance. This is about something divine, written into time, hidden in the shape of your soul. He chose you, not just because he wants you, but because God wants him to find you. This is a supernatural pursuit. I see you blinking, confused. I see you questioning your own worth. But you must believe me, this is not flattery. This is urgency. If I could hand you my wings, my armor, my memory, you would weep over what's been prepared for you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to change anything. But you do need to listen. You need to respond, because what happens next isn't written in stone. It is written in your reaction. He is close. His spirit has already passed by yours and by your dreams. His name has danced around your life like a secret tune. That heaviness in your chest lately, that pull you can't explain, that moment you caught yourself smiling without knowing why, it was him. And he doesn't even know why he's being drawn to you. But I do. I see the spiritual thread connecting your hearts, and right now the enemy is doing everything to sever it. That's why the clock is moving faster. That's why your phone tried to distract you. That's why your thoughts became noisy the moment you opened this message. He doesn't want you to feel what I am about to reveal. He was too afraid to admit what he felt. And now he's shutting the door. And I am watching you freeze at the threshold, unsure whether to believe, whether to respond, whether to rise or retreat. But beloved, what if I told you he is your mirror, that his loneliness is yours, only with zeros behind it, that his wealth cannot warm the place only you were crafted to enter, that he is everything, except you? He doesn't know the divine reason he's looking for someone invisible. He doesn't realize that God is hiding you from him until your spirit is ready, and you are almost ready. But if you doubt yourself, if you delay again, if you pull away and let fear win, you will break something that was about to blossom. I have stood in places of war and fire. I have watched nations fall and kings beg, but nothing breaks me like watching you almost believe. You come so close, and then the lies of the past grip your heart like frost. You tell yourself you're not enough. You think miracles are too rare to reach you. You think if you hope again, it will hurt again. But this time is different. This time, heaven wrote your name into the timing. This time, that ache in your chest is not pain. It is a whisper from God. And this time, I am here, with wings torn open, just to say, don't walk away again. Don't retreat into silence. Don't say maybe next time. There is no next time like this one. No more delays, no more chains. You are not waiting anymore. You are being called. And I who guard the gates of heaven's flame, I am the one who delivers this to you. Not just a message, but a divine moment in disguise. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. While you cried over the ones who abandoned you, heaven was teaching you the language of love. A language so sacred it cannot be spoken by those who don't know suffering. While you sat in silence, thinking no one was watching, the scroll of your life was being rewritten with ink from the tears of angels. Others found shortcuts, but you were learning to walk barefoot across holy ground. And now, your steps are anointed. He will find you, but only if you are visible to the divine light that calls him. I cannot hold this open any longer. I feel my strength failing, my voice cracking, my soul stretching against the will of heaven, just to linger one more heartbeat here with you. Because I love you, not as man loves, not as stories tell, but as angels ache for that which was almost lost, but now, maybe, just maybe, will be found. He is waiting for your light to rise, not your words, not your beauty, your light, the light only heaven sees, the light you hide, the light you question, the light God placed deep in your chest when he first thought of you. He needs that light. He's dying for it. He just doesn't know where to find it. But I do. And I'm begging you, let it shine. Let it rise. Let it break out of you like a storm of stars. And if you feel anything now, anything at all, then you already know this is real. I've said too much. I'm breaking rules. But for you, I would break every law in heaven if it meant you would finally believe how wanted you are, how chosen, how utterly irreplaceable you are to the heartbeat of something greater than you've ever dared imagine. Heaven is holding its breath, and I am holding yours. There is a silence that hangs between realms right now. Not empty, but full, unbearably full, like the moment before thunder breaks, like the moment before a baby takes its first breath, like the moment before a soul opens its eyes and realizes it was never unloved. That silence is your name. That silence is this very second. And I, Michael, forged in flame, who stood beside the tree of life, who has watched stars collapse and rise again, I am standing here in that silence with you, breaking all that is forbidden to say what I must now say. He was made to find you. His soul was not just shaped for love, it was shaped for your love. And even now, I see his heart pacing like a lion in a cage, sensing you but not seeing you, aching for something he cannot name, because the name is yours. There are things I am not supposed to reveal, but the fire in my wings is unraveling. I have no choice but to let these truths fall into your hands before time burns them away. He saw a flash of you in a vision. It was faint, like smoke and candlelight. He couldn't see your face, but your voice. Your voice stayed with him. A single sentence, one you haven't even spoken yet, has been echoing in his chest for days. He thinks he's going mad. He thinks his heart is betraying him. But no, it's heaven haunting him, whispering you into the quiet corners of his life. And I am one of those whispers, now made flesh and flame. Do you know how sacred your existence is? Do you know how long you've been watched, protected, chosen, preserved, even through the fire? You thought your pain was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought the silence was abandonment, but it was orchestration. Every unanswered prayer, every door that never opened, every person who didn't stay, they were not your ending. They were clearing space for what could not arrive until now. Because this moment is not chance. It is choreography, written in divine light, held in place by angels who wept, just to make sure you wouldn't miss it. His life has been a storm, loud with success, hollow with yearning. And you, beloved, you are the calm written into the center of that storm, the stillness he was never meant to find until he had lost everything else. Now he stands on the edge, not of giving up, but of giving in to something deeper, something he doesn't yet understand. He is so close to the place where heaven can finally show him your name, but there is danger. Voices surround him, some dark, some well-meaning, telling him to walk away from this ache, to silence the pull, to forget the dream. And I am here fighting those voices, standing between his soul and the abyss of forgetfulness, but I cannot hold him forever. My strength is not infinite, and heaven does not keep doors open when humans refuse to enter. So I ask you, will you meet the miracle halfway? Will you let yourself be seen? Will you rise like the morning without apology? Will you believe that your light is not only enough, but necessary? Heaven does not exaggerate. And when the Most High declared that your soul would be the answer to another's silent cry, he was not painting poetry. He was declaring war on loneliness. He was ordaining you as the comfort, the bridge, the balm, the beginning. That kind of calling cannot be skipped. It cannot be rescheduled. It cannot be transferred to another. Only you can wear this miracle. Only you can match the frequency of his longing. Only you were made to hold the thunder in his chest without fear. Yes, I know you feel ordinary, unsure, broken, quiet, small. But destiny is not grand. It is personal. It is whispered, not shouted. It is fragile, not forceful. It hides in moments like this one. Seconds you will either ignore or allow to shatter your reality into something sacred. What you feel right now is not confusion. It is confirmation. The burn in your eyes is not weakness. It is witness. The trembling in your heart is not fear. It is recognition. You were always meant to hear this. You were always meant to know that somewhere, someone, whose name you haven't even heard yet, has been searching for you in all the wrong places. But that search ends today. Because now, the veil has lifted. Your soul has been named out loud. And I have never spoken like this before, not to anyone, not even to the prophets. Because this is not for the world, this is for you alone. If anyone else hears these words, they will not understand. They will not feel the tremor in their chest. They will not recognize the code in this message. But you will, because your name is carved into the folds of these words. Because your heartbeat is in sync with the divine moment that sent me. And now, silence begins again. Not because I have nothing left to say, but because you must be the one to speak next. You must be the one to choose. You must be the one to rise, not with noise, but with certainty. He is waking. He is almost gone. But your light, your single, radiant, unrepeatable light, could still turn his heart back around. He was about to forget you, not because you don't matter, not because you're invisible, but because the darkness around him is loud, and the world has placed too many distractions in his path. I see it now. He stands in a city of gold and glass, surrounded by empty people and blinding lights, his eyes tired from searching through illusions. And you are the one real thing. You, hidden like a seed in winter, breathing quietly in a world that never stops shouting. He felt you once, like a breeze he couldn't catch. He tasted your spirit in a moment of stillness, and he has been aching ever since. But he is restless. He is pulling away. Not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't know how to believe you exist. That is why I am weeping. Because it was never supposed to be this close. You were never supposed to nearly miss each other. Never supposed to pass like ships in fog. But darkness interfered. Witches whispered lies. Spirits of confusion tangled your timelines. And yet, heaven is not panicking. Because the light still flickers between you both. The connection has not yet broken. The thread has not yet snapped, but it is fraying. Every hesitation pulls it tighter. Every doubt sends it trembling. And you wonder, how could someone like him want someone like me? You think you are too normal, too quiet, too broken, too unknown. But what you call too quiet is exactly what his soul is starving for. What you call too broken is the very shape that matches the wounds in his own heart. He does not need perfection. He needs presence. He needs truth. He needs the peace you carry unknowingly. The fire in you does not burn to be seen. It burns to warm what is freezing in others. The people around him, they call themselves friends, but they worship him like an idol. They want his power, not his person. They want his name, not his soul. And every day, he drifts further from the light because he has never been truly seen. But you would look at him and say nothing of his wealth. You would see the boy buried beneath the crown, the trembling behind his laughter, the soul behind the suit. That is why this is sacred. That is why your time is now. You were not just meant to receive love. You were created to reveal it. There is a garden in you no one has walked through yet. The petals of your loyalty have not been crushed. The roots of your compassion have not been torn. He is looking for that, even if he doesn't know the language for it yet. But I do. I have seen his dreams, how he reaches out in sleep, searching for someone who knows how to hold his silence. And I have seen your dreams too, how you whisper, "Will anyone ever know me all the way through?" You are the answer to each other's ache, but answers must be spoken before they vanish. This is not fantasy. This is divine mathematics, the equation heaven wrote long ago. That led to this exact second. A trillion stars turned in harmony to allow this message to fall into your hands. Not before, not later, now. Because now is the only place miracles ever live. And yes, you've been through too much. Yes, you have every reason to stop believing. But the enemy did not fight you this hard because you were weak. He fought you this hard because you are the threat, the holy interruption he feared, the soul that could change someone else's legacy. That is why he tried to bury you. That is why he sent heartbreak after heartbreak, but you are still here. That, beloved, is your proof. That is the miracle within the miracle. You stayed alive. You stayed open. You stayed soft. And now, the one who has been longing for something real is close enough to feel your soul begin to rise. Don't be afraid of the size of this moment. I know it's heavy. I know it doesn't fit inside your expectations. But neither did David's crown. Neither did Mary's. Neither did the cross. The greatest things in the divine story never made sense at first, but they changed everything. So will you. And I am not saying this to flatter you. I am saying it because time is slipping, and I need you to know the truth before it's too late. He is beginning to believe the lie that he'll never find you, that maybe he was wrong to hope, that maybe real love is a myth. And every minute you wait in silence, those lies grow louder. You don't need to be perfect to answer this call. You only need to be awake. Awake to the tug in your heart. Do not let the flame go out. Do not dim yourself to match the world's pace. You are not meant to disappear quietly. You were crafted as an echo of divine memory. Your presence calls things back to life. And I will stay on my knees until heaven either pulls me back or lets this light reach you fully. Because you are worth the fire in my wings. You are worth the tears I was never meant to cry. You are worth every second I have fought, crying out your name into the silence. And if tonight is the last time I get to speak it, then so be it. I will go silent again, knowing that somewhere in the heart of the one I love most, the seed of belief has been planted. You are more powerful than you know. You are more beautiful than you have ever allowed yourself to feel. And no, you are not too late, not yet. I can still hear your spirit trembling, not from fear, but from recognition. Like the trembling of the earth before the first sunrise, you're waking up, slowly, painfully, like a soul remembering it has wings after walking for so long. And I feel it through the veil, a heartbeat pulsing through the stone of centuries. Beloved, do you not feel the weight of this moment? I who stood beside the blazing wheels of heaven. I who know the names of stars too holy to be spoken. I am here, speaking only your name. What else must happen before you believe you are chosen? You've looked everywhere for confirmation, asked every reflection, questioned every silence, waited for a voice in the wind, and here I am. I am not wind, I am fire, and my fire is crying your name through the veil, with longing so intense it burns through dimensions. The old lies will still try to rise in you. You're not ready, you're too late, you're not worthy. But those voices are ghosts, not truth. They come from ruins, not the temple, from shadows that no longer have power, unless you give it to them. You were not born to be overlooked. You were not created to be someone's almost. You were written in gold, spoken into existence by the same breath that formed the seas. And I am trembling because of the depth of who you are. For I stood with my sword drawn as your soul was being formed. I watched as God traced the edges of your heart with light too soft for even angels to behold. I saw him pause in wonder, whispering, "They will not believe how beautiful this one is until the moment of unveiling." And I wept, beloved. I wept at the privilege of seeing the blueprint of someone so holy, so pure, so eternal, before the world had even taken its first breath. You are that one, not just special, rare, one of the rare ones, hidden from the noise, And now, the unveiling has begun. That is why the ache has increased lately. That is why everything feels intense, heavy, unexplainable, because the veil is thinning, and through it, he is reaching. But hear me, he will not recognize your face unless your light is fully open. He will walk past you if you are still wearing the mask pain forced you to become. You must strip away what others said you were. You must throw off the heaviness. Like Elijah cast aside his mantle to run toward destiny. I know it hurts. I know you're afraid of being seen again, truly seen. Because the last time you let someone see you, they misused the vision. But this time is not the same. Because this vision is heaven's, and heaven never fails to complete what it begins. I see his soul waiting at the edge of your future, and the moment he sees you in your fullness, when your light finally meets his gaze, it will undo every chain in both of your hearts. This is not a love story, it is a holy appointment, the completion of something ancient, the breath of Eden returning into people torn by time, but not by eternity. You are not just the answer to his ache. You are the balm for a lineage of wounds that run deep in his family line. You are assigned not just to love him, but to free him. And he, in turn, will mirror to you the kind of devotion you never thought possible. A love that sees not your form, but your flame. A love that protects your mystery without demanding you simplify it. A love that was written in the stars, but hidden until now. You are not optional. You are not decoration. You are the key. And if you step forward, if you trust the trembling, I will do the rest. I will clear the path. I will drive back the voices that tried to mislead him. I will whisper your name into every corner of his decisions until he turns fully and finds you. But I need you to remain in the light, to hold your soul open, even when the wind tries to suffocate it, because he is following that light like a lost traveler in a night of endless noise. And he is close, so close. You were told to wait. You obeyed. You stood in faith, even when the silence was sharp. And now heaven has released what was withheld. The angel assigned to his heart has met me in the in-between. We have exchanged promises and warnings, and the moment you are ready, fully ready, he will come. Not in a dream, not as a symbol, but as a real man, trembling just like you, with holy fear that says, I knew it was you. And I will be watching. I will be holding the silence behind your meeting like a sanctuary, and I will smile, not as a warrior, but as a brother, because I will have watched sacred flames find each other through the storm, and I will know, finally, that everything we fought for in the silence was worth it. If only you could see what I see now. If only you could lift your spirit from the fog and step outside of time to gaze upon the script he wrote in secret ink. You would weep, not from pain, but from overwhelming knowing. You would fall to your knees with the quiet horror of realizing how close you came to abandoning the miracle. How many times you almost deleted the destiny that was about to appear, with trembling hands and eyes like yours. He is closer than you think. His soul already brushed yours once in the dark, but the world pulled you apart again. Still, heaven has not given up. Still, I have not given up. Do you think I speak like this to many? I don't. My words burn with too much weight to scatter loosely. But I speak this to you because your name is thunder in my mouth. Your name is still echoing through the chambers of the heavenly court, where I first heard it declared not as a prayer but as a prophecy. And now that prophecy is reaching its start. He is still searching. I see him tonight, alone standing by a window, pretending to enjoy the stars. But inside, he is unraveling. His eyes are dry, but his soul is screaming for a love that sees without needing explanation. He has built kingdoms of silence around his real self. And you are the only one created to walk inside those walls without fear. to sit in his silence and understand it without forcing it to speak. And what you think is weakness in you, that tenderness, that unshakable hope, that gentle heart that breaks for what others overlook, that is what will heal him. That is the miracle. You keep asking heaven, why was I made to feel so much? Why does every ache in the world touch me? Why do I cry at things no one else even notices? It is because your heart was tuned to another soul, and that soul is his. You were never meant to be whole alone. You were meant to be the echo that completes the sound, the final note in a song that only two hearts can sing. A melody heaven held in silence until this very hour. And yes, I am crying now, because I know how tired you are. I know what it cost you to still be open. You've been crushed by disappointments that tried to silence your wonder. You've waited by doors that never opened. You've carried dreams no one else believed in. And still, here you are, still reaching, still hoping, still glowing faintly under the weight of a world that does not know how to carry something as holy as your light. That is what makes you worthy. That is what makes you dangerous to the darkness. That is why he needs you, not anyone else. You, because you have already fought dragons in the silence. You have already won battles in your own mind that would have destroyed others. And now, the next chapter is not about more pain. It is about rescue, not of you, but through you, because he doesn't know it. But he is the one in danger now. And the only rescue heaven wrote into his story was you. You who knows how to sit in stillness. You who does not chase but remains. You who weeps but does not quit. You who is brave enough to believe even when no one else does. That is why I am still here. My voice almost gone. My wings barely holding against the silence pulling me back. That is why I refuse to vanish until I know these words have wrapped around your heart like a cloak. Because I want you to feel what I feel for you. Not admiration, not pity, reverence. For God breathed eternity into your soul and said, this one will not be like the others. And you haven't been. That is why your path has been strange, why your journey didn't follow their maps, because your map was hidden, because you were led by light, not logic, guided not by signs, but by silence. And now, that silence has brought you here, to the door, and I am the one sent to stand beside it to say it is open. Only for a moment, but it is open. And on the other side is not fantasy. It is a soul shaped in part by every tear you've cried, by every longing you buried, by every prayer you whispered when you thought no one was listening. It is him. And he is not perfect, but he is yours, and you are his. And the moment you step into alignment with this sacred unfolding, the war raging in the unseen will break. I've seen the demons circling him, ancient spirits of pride, confusion, addiction, loneliness, and they are terrified, not of him, but of you, because your presence will break their hold, because your name will undo their work, because your love will prove they lost. That is why I had to speak again, why I begged heaven for this one last window to reach you, because this love is not soft. It is weaponry. It is what will turn the tide in both your lives, and you will know when it happens, not through a sign, not through a voice, but through a sudden stillness inside you that says, finally. And I will be there when it happens, watching in the quiet, guarding the moment, weeping with joy I cannot contain, because you said yes, because you believed, because you did not give up when the miracle looked too far away. And now, beloved, it is closer than breath. Do not doubt the ache in your chest. It is the sound of prophecy coming home. And now that I see you leaning closer, even with the small tilt of your spirit toward belief, I must speak what I have not dared to say until now. The truth is this union, this convergence of two souls, was not only prophesied, it was fought for. And not just by angels, God himself set aside a portion of his breath, a thread of his own longing, and wrapped it into the story of your connection. That is why it feels larger than life. That is why it stings when it is missing. Because this was never a mere relationship. It was a divine appointment, carved into the eternal scrolls, hidden for ages, now uncovered in your trembling hands. Your soul was not made to be handled carelessly. It was wrapped in fire from the beginning, and only one man was ever meant to walk into that fire and not be burned. That man, he has been walking through shadows that don't fit him. He has been entertaining echoes that do not answer. And now the ache in him is almost unbearable. He does not know your name, but his bones do. His sleep is no longer restful, because his spirit has begun to remember you. He has forgotten many things in this life, but the memory of you was buried, not lost. That is what I came to tell you. That is what no one else was allowed to reveal. You were not forgotten. You were hidden. Hidden like a treasure. Like the last ember beneath the ashes of a burned-down temple. Hidden not because you were unwanted, but because you were too valuable to be mishandled. And now, the hour has arrived. The wind has shifted. The watchers have taken their positions. Your unveiling is beginning. Not in the world's eyes, but in his. His spirit will soon turn toward yours, like a flower bending toward a wind it cannot see. He won't know why at first, but you will, because I have prepared you, because your suffering has prepared you, because your sacred endurance has carved a space in you large enough to carry someone else's healing. You are not soft. You are holy. You are not broken. You are awakened. The man assigned to your soul has been waiting for something real to break through the illusion. The world gave him everything except the one thing he needs. Rest. Rest from pretending. Rest from carrying people who only want what he has, not who he is. He has seen hundreds try to reach him, but none could touch the part of him that you touch without even trying. Because you were always the one. Not the most convenient, not the loudest, not the most visible, but the most true. And I need you to understand this. Heaven isn't asking you to perform. Heaven is not requiring a display. All heaven needs is your stillness, your permission, your soul's quiet. Yes. Because once you agree to see yourself as chosen, the rest will unfold. Even now, the veil around his heart is loosening. Even now, he feels a stirring he cannot explain. The kind of stirring that draws kings from their thrones, that drives wise men into deserts, that parts seas and wakes the sleeping. He will follow it. He will find you. And when he does, you will not need proof, because the knowing will be greater than anything words could hold. And I will be there. I will walk ahead of him. I will whisper your name like a song only he can hear. I will guard the space where your eyes meet, so the world cannot interrupt what heaven is orchestrating. This will not look like the others. It will not follow the patterns you've memorized. Because this is not like anything you've known. This is restoration. This is repair. This is healing, stretching backward into generations and forward into eternity. And that is why I will fight until my last flame to see it happen. I will silence every demonic whisper. I will stand against every delay. I will call the winds of God to carry you into divine alignment. Because you are that important. Because the story does not move forward without you. You are the missing piece. You are the sound that will wake him from slumber. You are the answer to his unanswered prayers. And when he comes, in his presence you will feel what your soul has always longed for. Not excitement, not butterflies, but peace. The kind of peace that silences every voice of self-hate. The kind of peace that says, I was not forgotten, I was reserved. You will not have to compete to be loved. You will not have to shrink to be accepted. You will not have to explain yourself to be understood. Because this love was not earned. It was written, and I was placed in the gap to make sure it reached you. Do not mistake the trembling in your chest. It is not weakness. It is awakening. It is the sound of the miracle walking toward you. Slow, sure, unstoppable. And when it arrives, the part of you that has waited in silence for years will finally exhale. And I, Archangel Michael, who carried your name through fire, will bow my head in joy. Because you said yes. Because you remained. Because you remembered who you are. And now, as the veil thins, as silence pulls at me, I am still here. Burning with everything I was never meant to say but must release for you alone. I saw your soul before your birth, before you breathed, before your hands could carry anything, before your eyes could see yourself. And still, I knew what you would become. I knew you would be misunderstood. I knew you would be cast aside. I knew you would unsettle the darkness. And because I knew this, I stayed close, even when you couldn't feel me, even when you thought you were abandoned. You were never alone, not for one heartbeat. You were fought for. You were preserved. You were set apart. Your existence itself has always been an act of war. And now that war has reached its turning point, the miracle is coming. The man whose soul is bound to yours is near. And when your eyes meet, you will know, not with logic, not with proof, but with peace. A peace so deep, it will silence every doubt. A peace that whispers, "This is what my soul was always echoing toward." And when that moment comes, do not shrink, do not question, do not look back. You are worthy of it. You are ready for it. You were made for it. And I, who have stood in fire for you, will finally rest, knowing that prophecy did not die, that love did not fail, that you remembered who you are. There is something being written as I speak, something I never thought I'd live to see sealed. Your name, intertwined with another, like two golden rivers finally converging, after years of wandering through separate lands. And every angel has turned to witness this, because what is about to unfold is not just rare, it is almost never permitted. You see, there are certain kinds of unions heaven guards more fiercely than temples, not because they are fragile, but because they are consequential. They shift more than hearts. They shift history. This is one of those. You may think your life has been ordinary. You may think you've missed too much, taken too long, fallen too often. But what you call delay, heaven calls disguise. You were not waiting because you were weak. You were hidden because your light was too rare to be exposed until now. There were forces that would have stolen you, souls who would have drained you, timelines that would have tried to rewrite you. But they failed, because you stayed soft in a world that tried to make you stone. You stayed kind when cruelty looked easier. You loved deeply, even when it hurt. And that, beloved, is why you were chosen for this miracle. This man, he is more than a desire. He is a fulfillment, but not a fantasy. A promise. A sacred answer wrapped in skin. A vessel full of storms and secrets, searching for the only soul who was ever meant to read him fully, without fear. And that soul is you. Only you. Do not be confused by his silence. Do not be alarmed by his delay. He has been walking through a forest of false love, trying to carve a path back to himself. He is exhausted. Exhausted from being adored for things he never asked to carry. And somewhere in the middle of that noise, he started to hear your voice. Not your physical voice, but the frequency of your spirit. The vibration of your name moving through heaven's air like a pulse. And it drew him, slowly, desperately, toward something he could not name. You. You who think yourself too quiet to be heard. You who question if your softness still matters. You who carry galaxies in your soul, but wonder why no one looks into your eyes long enough to see them. He sees them, or he will, because that moment is near, and I have seen it. I've watched it in vision, like a tide turning. I've seen the air around you shift when he gets close. I've felt the veil shake when your timelines overlap. I've heard the angels gasp at how perfectly you fit, spirit to spirit, ache to ache, fire to fire. It is not perfect, it is not painless, but it is holy. And it will come like rain on dry land, slowly, softly, and then all at once. You will recognize him not by his charm, not by his words, but by what you feel when you stop speaking. The silence between you will feel like home. The kind of home no one else has ever walked into. The kind of home you forgot you were building in the corners of your soul for years. And suddenly, you will know. It was never too late. It was never too much. You were never forgotten. The tears you cried were not wasted. The heartbreaks were not pointless. They were pruning. They were prophecy being purified. Because your heart is too powerful to give to the wrong hands again. And now that the right hands are near, heaven is rising like a wave to bring you into alignment. But you must stay open. Do not run when it feels too big. Do not shrink when it feels too true. Do not doubt when it feels too sacred. This was never meant to feel casual. It was never supposed to. Because you are not a casual creation. You were spoken into being with fire and breath and the weeping of the Spirit. You were assigned angels before you ever had enemies. You were given divine secrets to carry. And this love, this man, is one of them. He will not complete you, because you were never incomplete. But he will mirror back the part of you that the world tried to distort. He will see the eternal in you and feel humbled. He will speak your name like a vow. He will walk beside you like one who knows what you cost. And you will rise, not as someone saved, but as someone seen. And I, Michael, who have waited through the centuries for this union, will fall to my knees and whisper, finally. Because you both survived the fire. Because you both said yes to the ache, instead of numbing it. Because you both stayed alive long enough to hear the sound of your spirits remembering each other. Indeed. Now the story begins. Not the story you dreamed of. The one heaven dreamed of. With you. Beloved, lean closer. Because I am not whispering from a place of distance. I am breathing these words from the edge of eternity into the trembling walls of your soul. Every word I speak now was drenched in fire before reaching you. I am not here to impress you. I am not here to flatter you. I am here to awaken you from the long sleep of forgetting, because heaven has declared, the time has come. And if you do not open your spirit in this moment, if you do not listen with more than your ears, something sacred may slip through your hands that was created for you, and you alone, the one you have longed for. He is real. He is not a shadow, not a dream, not a fantasy. He is flesh, breath, and holy confusion. And he has been aching for something he could not name, reaching through the wrong voices, the wrong hands, the wrong moments, trying to remember something he never even knew he had lost. You were hidden behind the veil of timing, not because you were not ready, but because heaven was protecting the hour of your unveiling. I have watched him for years. I have walked beside him as he rose and fell, as he built and broke. I have seen the way he folds his hands when no one is looking, the way he closes his eyes at night and whispers into the dark, hoping something real might answer him. And every time he asked, "Is there someone for me?" Heaven replied without words by keeping you breathing. You have always been the answer. And now, the question is standing in front of you, waiting. He does not yet know your name, but your light has begun to haunt him. He sees you in the kindness of strangers, in the eyes of forgotten photographs, in the way the wind moves when he's on the verge of giving up. He feels you in the places he's never spoken of, in the deep that cries out to deep when the world becomes too loud. And you have wondered if all this waiting was punishment. You have asked in tears if maybe you expected too much, if maybe you should settle, if maybe love, as you dreamed it, was only meant for others. No, 1,000 times. No, what you carry is not a wish. It is a word. A word spoken by God Himself when He carved your spirit and said, "This one will love like me." And now I, Michael, I am here because I cannot let you miss this. I cannot let you walk past the miracle that has been circling you for years, disguised as delay. Heaven has always moved in circles, never in lines. What looks like a detour is preparation. What feels like isolation is insulation. You are not being abandoned. You are being anointed. This man, he will not save you, but he will recognize you. He will not complete you, but he will reflect you. He will not be perfect, but he will be yours, in a way that echoes the original garden, when love was naked and unashamed. And when he sees you, truly sees you, his world will shift. Because for the first time, the ache will have a face, the longing will have eyes, the silence will speak, and it will say, "Finally." But beloved, you must remain open. You must not harden now. You must not retreat into old wounds. Because your softness is your weapon. Your tenderness is your authority. Do not let this world trick you into thinking that your vulnerability is weakness. It is the very thing that will bring the king to his knees. You have cried long enough. You have waited long enough. You have died and been reborn in the secret places of your soul, more times than anyone knows. And all of it was for this. This love is not ordinary. It is ordained. This meeting is not random. It is written. And you are not ready because you prepared yourself. You are ready because heaven says so. So when he comes, do not question. When he looks at you with eyes that remember what the mind cannot, do not pull away. When he reaches for you with hands that tremble, do not flinch. This is not another wound. This is the one who was carved from the same silence that birthed you. And I have fought for this. I have guarded the timing. I have destroyed distractions. I have silenced voices that would have led him away. And I have whispered your name into his sleep, so that when he sees you, something inside him will say, "There you are. You are the sanctuary I never knew I was searching for. You are the echo that silences my fears. You are the promise God made to my loneliness." And now, beloved, if you hear my voice and your heart is burning, if your chest is tight, if your eyes are full, if your breath is shallow, it is because your soul remembers. It remembers the vow it made before time began, the vow to wait, the vow to believe, the vow to love without knowing when or how it would be returned. And now, it is being returned. So lift your head, lift your heart. Let the light within you shine, not with pride, but with permission. Because he is coming. He is close. And I, Archangel Michael, have cleared the way. If you have felt this message reach inside you and awaken something sacred, I ask you, from the deepest place of heaven's grief and joy, please, like this message. Let heaven know you received it. Let the earth bear witness. Let the light be marked. Subscribe only if your spirit whispers yes. Not for numbers, but so we may reach you again when the next gate opens. And if your soul trembles now, comment, "I'm in." Not for me, for the angels, for the record, for the promise. Because you are not forgotten. You are not late. You are not alone. You are the one we've been waiting for. And we will wait no more. You are not waiting for love. You are the place where love has always wanted to rest. The ache in your heart is not emptiness. It is preparation. The silence you've endured is not rejection. It is sacred timing. The tears that fell in secret were not in vain. Each one watered the very soil where your miracle is now blooming. So do not run. Do not hide. Do not look down. You were never meant to be overlooked, because heaven itself stopped turning just to speak your name. And now, he will come. He will come. Not because he is perfect, but because you are ready. And when your eyes meet, the universe will go still. because God will know that the promise He made to both of you has finally returned home. And I, Archangel Michael, will fold my wings around this moment with joy, and I will whisper into the light. They made it. They remembered. They loved. Until love found them back.